starts. There we go. So we're live. Good morning if you're joining on YouTube and Facebook. Then we got to press go live on Instagram. We are now going live on Instagram. Good morning if you're joining on Instagram. We got our movement and breathwork session this morning. We're going to focus a little bit more on movement. Thank you for joining. I'm going to start off the session with the spine rotation, get that spine mobilization going. And then Elaine is going to jump in and do some work on hips and a little bit of stretches and things. So just whatever we fancy doing this morning to get us set up for a Wednesday morning. So you're not going to see our full body because we haven't got loads and loads of space here. But if you just find a comfortable standing position, and I'll just go on there, then you can just see that rather than watching Facebook. There we go. So make sure you've got a little bit of room around you there and a room around you there. Lights are okay. Let me just put this light on very quickly so it gives you a bit more light. And nice and stable, supported on the surface that you're standing. Take your arms out. We're going to do a circle to the right. We're going to do it 8 times. So you're going to start to feel a little bit dizzy. That's fine as long as you don't feel horrendous and you don't fall over. So just take it easy, going 5 times round to the right. As I take the curtains out. And when you get back to facing forwards, take your time, just let yourself find balance, just relax the arms, let the arms relax down to the sides. Just settle into the breath, just keep that breath light, in and out through the nose. And then with that connection to the ground, focusing on the ground, the feet on the ground, the hips and the waist, just into knocking. Soften into the knees. Keep the spine long and tall, very gently lifting through the crown. Very gently lifting through the crown. So you're working on that rotation of the spine. Breathing is just light, natural breathing. Just tapping on the back, so you're tapping the hand on the back of the body, just tapping across the belly. So you're just softening the elbows, letting the elbows bend, getting a bit of blood flow to the lower back. And then slowing it down into water waves, adding that little bit of resistance. If you get a chance and you've not done so, just practice this outside as well when it's safe to do so. Because you can really feel, if the slower you go, you can feel the air through the fingers, you can feel the air running over the arms. So it's like you're moving, hardly disturbing the air. And then slowing it down. We're just going to bring our palms facing forward. So we're not just letting our arms hang by the sides. A little bit of rotation through the shoulders, softness in the elbows, just opening the palms. Just letting the breath settle. And then we're going to bring the palms together. And here we can create that little bit of pressure. So I'm not just flattening my hands together, I'm pushing the palms together. And I quite like this one. This is a new one I've been playing around with, just holding that posture but breathing into it. So a nice breath in, and we can make that breath a little bit bigger. And almost feel as if you're breathing here into the back. And your elbows are out. We're not just letting the elbows dangle down, pushing the palms together. Couple of breaths. Let's do 3 nice full breaths. Very calming, very relaxing. Just extending the inhale, extending the exhale a little bit. Breathing into the ribs, breathing into the back. It's almost like you're blowing up a balloon, so you get that expansion of the rib cage. To the back and the sides, pressing the palms together. And then when you're ready, just taking a nice full breath in, expanding, opening the chest, and then coming back together, pressing. This next one, we're going to make it even bigger by bringing the elbows back, tilting the pelvis, so you're spilling out the front of the pelvis, and then we're going to bring the elbows together, and we're going to tuck the tailbone underneath. I know you can't see very well here because I'm in black and we haven't got much space, but you're tilting the pelvis, so you're spilling out the front, and then you're tucking the pelvis under, so you're rounding the back there. Follow your breath now. Let's just do 3 of these. Breath in. Opening up the front of the throat, 2. We're getting some creaks and crunches from both of us here. Elaine is here doing it to the side and we're crunching away. And then when you've done 3 of those, just relax. Dog wags the tail. Parallel pelvis to the ground, and then just freeing up. So we're getting that spine wave, that spine ripple. The work is coming from the center, from here, everything else is following. Or the spine is following, then everything is following from the spine. And that's nice for the neck. Feel that in the neck, feel that in the shoulders. And then slowing it down, slowing it down, slowing it down, slowing it down. And we're going to have a little bit of a shake. So again, whatever you feel like, whether you feel like a bit more of an aggressive shake, if you want to move it around a little bit, or if you just feel like a nice gentle shake, freeing up your shoulders. And if you want to do some fuller breaths in, you want to do some cleansing and clearing and resetting, that's fine. You can use the breath to breathe in and or if you don't feel you need that right now, just don't do it. You don't have to do it. Just take a breath in if you want to and let go. Let's do one more breath in. And let go. And then slow it down, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Palms open. Feel a tingle, 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 tingle. Feels good. Feels nice. Just have a little body scan and notice any areas that you might feel a little bit of tension in, that you think, oh yeah, I can just let go a little bit more, I can just soften a little bit more into that area. Maybe the pelvis, maybe you can just let the tailbone hang a little bit more, that we're not holding a lot of tension here. Just have a scan around the body. We're going to do 3 pulling down the heavens. Breathing in, keep the shoulders relaxed, and down. And breathing out, a little bit of resistance. Again, it's like the air is a little bit denser, you're pushing through the air. And then we get to the bottom, maybe we stand a little bit taller as we breathe in, maybe we look a little bit higher as we breathe in. And then breathe out. Expanding as you breathe in. Letting go as you breathe out. Excellent. And take a rest. Have a little walk around if you need a bit of a walk around. And then I'm going to hand you over to Elaine, and Elaine is going to do some stretches and we'll catch up at the end. Elaine, thank you.
That's right. I'm just going to angle this a little bit so hopefully see my pelvis a little bit as well. So we're going to start from top and work our way down through the body. We'll pay some attention to the hips as well. So let's just start off. So just have your feet shoulder width apart so you're nice and stable. Knees can be slightly softened. And we're just going to start off with gentle stretch for the neck. So through all of this, keeping the calm, nice and breath. Don't hold your breath at any time. Cool, smooth, calm breaths in and out through your nose if you're comfortable doing that, or just breathe normally. I don't want you to hold your breath because a stretch feels too intense. So again, just do whatever feels comfortable for you. So just standing up nice and tall, imagine you're feeling lengthened from the crown of the head. And we're just going to start off with a nice gentle stretch for our necks. So take one ear down towards the shoulder, doesn't matter which side. And then the opposite hand, I want you to pull your fingertips back, flex your hand, and imagine you're pushing down. So your ear, I'm taking my left ear to my left shoulder, and I'm pushing my right hand down towards the ground and away from me. And hopefully that you'll notice that just deepens the stretch. If it's too intense, then relax the arm. But once you've taken your ear to your shoulder, just relax it there, and then if you'd like to, flex the hand and push away, and you'll just notice you might feel a bit of tingling through that arm, but it just deepens the stretch into the neck. So just hold it here. As you exhale, just try and relax into that stretch. Try and notice your body relax. Good, and then relax that arm and bring your head back up to center. Up and over to the other side, so other ear to other shoulder. And if that's comfortable and okay for you, then flex the other hand and imagine you're pushing down towards the ground. So you deepen that stretch through the side here. You might find one side feels more comfortable than another, or one side's a bit more creaky than another. Or that you can actually get your ear closer to your shoulder on one side. That's totally normal. None of us are symmetrical, as much as we would like to be sometimes. So just relax into that stretch. Good, and then relax the arm and bring the head back up to center. So now keeping the shoulders and the rib cage and everything else still, just gently lower your chin down towards your chest. And just notice the stretch through the back of the neck. Keeping the shoulders stable, so don't let the shoulders drop, so keeping them nice and supported, and just feel the stretch through the back of the neck. And then come back up to center. So this time, leaving the arms where they are, take one ear to one shoulder, slowly let the chin come down towards the chest, and then take the other ear to the other shoulder, and then come back up to center. Last time we're going to go the opposite way this time, so ear to shoulder, chin down towards the chest, getting that mobilisation, shoulder, ear to the other shoulder, and coming back up. So the neck does a lot of work all of the time, obviously supporting our head, and sometimes, particularly if we perhaps work at an office and we've got our hands at a laptop and things, it can get some real tension through the neck. So just having a gentle stretch is really, really important. Just don't go backwards. I would just say it's safe to do so in a controlled environment, but taking your head back can cause some injuries, so perhaps not do that. So let's get the shoulders rolling now. So let's roll both shoulders back and down. So bring them forwards, up, round and down. Forwards, up, round and down. And again. Try and make them as big as possible. So normally where we're saying keep a nice space between your ears and your shoulders, this time I want you to bring them right up and try and get the shoulders right up towards your ears, right back and down. Okay, one more this way. And then we're going to change direction. So this time draw the shoulder blades together, bring the shoulders up and forwards and down. And just notice it's actually quite hard work to do a really big full circle with your shoulders. You can just feel how the shoulders then integrate into the rib cage, and the rib cage starts to be involved in that. Let's do two more. One side might feel more agile than another, and then just relax. Just give them a shrug. Just let your shoulders shrug. Let everything relax underneath, and then just stop. And just notice how that feels. Actually, it's quite intense. I've got quite a lot of kind of tingling and activity going on through my neck and shoulder just from doing those few movements. So it's just really important to keep them really mobile. Now we're just going to work on the rotation in our shoulders. So I want you to push, so arms out at shoulder height, flex the fingertips up towards the ceiling and push away. Draw the shoulders back and down and just notice how you feel. What sensations are you feeling through your arms? If you're really drawing those fingertips back and pushing the heels of your hands away from one another, you might find like a tingling sensation up in towards your armpits. So just really work the arms, draw the shoulders down. And breathe calmly. Good, and then this time drop your fingertips down towards the floor. This is where we're doing our scarecrow impressions. So drop the fingers down and just notice the stretch maybe across the front of your wrists. And then take your palms level, and this time feel the rotation through the shoulders. I want you to rotate in the shoulder blades, in the sockets rather. Draw your palms up towards the ceiling. Draw the shoulder blades back and down, and just feel lengthened. Imagine somebody's pulling your fingers from wall to wall. Lengthen through the openness through the chest as well. And then let the arms come down. Give them a bit of a shake. So if I do that, if you really flex your fingers in different directions, you can sometimes get this sort of tingling sensation through the arms here. So it's really good activation of bits and pieces that we probably don't normally use or don't focus on in day-to-day activity. Now let's just have a bit of a stretch through the rib cage. So I want you to take one arm up towards the ceiling, keeping a nice space between the shoulder and the ear. I want you to imagine somebody's holding onto your middle finger, gently lifting it up towards the ceiling, and then you're just going to move over to the side slightly. So it's not a big side bend. I just want you to feel a nice stretch through the side of the rib cage. Everything from the waist and below, imagine it's in concrete, so you're not pushing your hips to the side at all, keeping that nice and still, and then you're just lengthening. Imagine you're reaching to where the ceiling meets the wall. Just feel lengthened through the side of the rib cage. Calming the breath here. Really focusing on being calm in the ribs, so you're not pushing your rib cage forward either. Keep them nice and calm through the ribs. And then come back up and let the arm come down. And then change sides. Take the other arm up. Feel nice and stable, nice space between the shoulder and the ear. Lengthening up towards the ceiling before you start to move over. So you get the nice space between the ribs as you lengthen. Good, and coming back up and letting the arm come down. Okay, focusing on the hips now, so hopefully you'll still be able to see me a little bit better. I've tilted the camera. So feet wider than hips, maybe shoulder width apart, and just let your toes be facing the corners, so they don't have to be parallel, but don't sort of twist them out to the side. So just let them be natural and sort of towards the corners, and then just sink down a little bit, not a big squat. So I want to keep the shoulders over the hips so you're not sticking your bottoms out. And then we're just going to place your hands on your hip bones, like you do in the sort of spinal cord breathing, the tilt to the pelvis. So first of all, let's spill out to the front. So let your coccyx release to the back of the room, wherever it may be. So you're tilting the pelvis, and then I want you to squeeze your glutes, squeeze and suck the belly button in towards the spine until, if I just move sideways, so you're still in a wide squat. So you're just very gently, everything is happening from the waistband and below. Upper body stays still. So you're going to spill and let the pelvis tilt outwards, and then squeeze and tuck underneath. And this is really good for the lower back. Okay, so this part of the spine does a lot of heavy lifting for us, and we really need to look after it. So let it tilt back, and then squeeze. Imagine your belly button squishing in towards your spine, and you're squeezing and tucking the pelvis under. So really feel that mobility through the lumbar spine. So let the pelvis tilt, everything spill out the front, shoulders are still over the hips, and then squeeze and tuck and let the pelvis come underneath. Okay, now come back, stretch your legs and give them a bit of a wriggle if you need to come out of the squat. Once you've done that, sink back down again. So this time, I want you to imagine you're going to tilt your pelvis from side to side. Hopefully it can be seen enough. So if you've got your hands on your hip bones, we've done the forwards and backs. This time we're going side to side. So I want you to be neutral to start off with. So imagine you've got a little weight on your coccyx and it's just pulling you down. Okay, there's no tilting forwards and back. Now we're going to raise one hip to the side. So again, you want to keep your shoulders and rib cage nice and still, and all the movements coming from the pelvis. And then come back to center. Tilt the hip to the other side. Now, one side might feel more comfortable than another, because obviously this is really activating in the ball and socket joint. Come back to center. Squeeze and tilt up to the other side. You might notice a bit of a stretch through the inside thigh in the opposite direction of where you're tilting. Come back to center. Squeeze and out to the side. Let's do one more each side. Squeeze and up. So it's a small movement, but you're working really deep into the hip socket. Come back to center. Squeeze and out to the other side. Okay, now we're going to come back to neutral. We're going to join up the dots. So we're going to do one circle one way and one circle the other. Let's go all together. So let's go to one side. Then we squeeze and tuck forward. So tuck the pelvis under. Remember, all of this is from the waistband and below. The rib cage stays still. Over to the other side. And then let it all spill out the back. Now we're going to change direction, back where you came from, to the side. Squeeze and tuck underneath. Over to the other side. And then let it all spill out the back. And then come back to neutral. And then stretch the legs. Okay, give everything a bit of a shake. So it's really small movements. Sometimes you might see other exercises, sort of everyone doing all these big hip circles and things. It's really important to really just sink down into it and keep the movement really small so that you isolate the ball and socket joint. I mean, it's great in dance classes or whatever else to, make bigger movements, but if you're really wanting to activate the hip socket, keep it low, keep it small, and really, really focus on those isolations as you go around, and everything from the waist and above doesn't move, because then that just takes away from the action. So give everything a bit of a shake. Okay. Take a step forward. So just angle this a little bit so you can see my legs here. Okay, I'm going to turn sideways for you. I will move it up so you're not just looking at my legs in a minute. So take one step forwards and take a bit of a step back, and I just want you to sit down. Okay, so if you can try and get your legs bend both knees, so your weight is in the middle, and then I want you to do that tilt of the pelvis forwards that we did just now, and that should feel a nice stretch through the front of your thigh. And just hold it here. So take the feet wide so you've got some stability. If you want to hold on to something, feet wide, both knees bent, toes facing forwards, hips and shoulders all facing in the same direction, but then again just Really tilt that pelvis under to feel a really nice stretch through the front of the hip and the hip flexor. And then stretch that leg. And then just turn yourself around, so you don't need to move feet, you can just swivel around. Make sure your toes are facing forwards, sink down, and then squeeze and tuck that pelvis under so you get a stretch through the front of the leg. Good, and then come back up. Just move that a little bit more. Okay, one last one for your hips. So take your feet wider than shoulders, not too wide so that you feel too unstable, but wider than shoulders. Toes facing forwards this time. I want you to lunge over to one side, so bend one knee, keep the other leg straight. Yeah, so other leg straight, toes are facing forward. And then this time, place your hands on your hips, so they're still parallel to the ground, but this time I want you to stick your bottoms out and keeping a nice lengthened back, just hinge from the hips forwards. And just notice how that feels in your hips as well. So again, you might feel a stretch through the inside thigh, but again, try and feel lengthened through the crown of the head, so you feel a nice lengthening feeling from the crown of the head all the way through to the coccyx. Good, and then bring your body back up and then swap sides. So lunge over to the other side, stick your bottoms out, hinge from your hips forwards, and again, just notice how one side might feel different to the other. Feel a nice stretch through the inside thigh here. So again, this is really good for getting right up into the hip socket on the inside. And then bring your body up and come up. Okay. Good, what time is it? Do we need a bit of time at the end?
A couple of minutes.
Okay, so then last one then for your hips. Take your feet wide again, toes facing towards the corner, and bend your knees, keeping the shoulders in line with the hips, and just make sure that your knees are going in line with your toes. Okay, so we don't want we want the knees to stay in line with the toes. Try not to let your knees come forwards or overextend them, so just let them be in line with your feet, and just sit. Calm the breath. So if you squeeze your glutes, you'll notice that it activates the rotation in your hip socket. So if you relax your glutes, your knees will naturally want to come forwards. If you squeeze your glutes together, you get the rotation in the hip sockets, and that keeps the knees in line with the feet. And just stay there. Notice how it feels. Calm the breath. It's quite intense, so come up anytime if you want to, or if you want to work yourself a little bit harder, just see if you can sink down that little bit more. Yeah, this is really good hip opener. Stay in there. I'm just going to move that back so you don't just have to focus on my thighs. Yeah, so just calm the breath here. Notice how it feels. One side might feel more congested than another. And if it's too much, you can stand up, give your legs a shake whenever you want to. But really just notice the difference. Practice squeezing your glutes and then relaxing them. Squeeze and relax. Squeeze and relax, and just notice the difference it makes to the rotation in the hip socket. And then stretching the legs. Bring the legs together, give everything a shake. And I think we're swapping sides. I think it's back to Gray to I think it hurt his thighs. So yeah, hopefully that wasn't too intense, but yeah.
That was interesting. That's brilliant. I can really feel that. It's quite nice just to do that little bit of extra tension.
Yeah.
Certainly a few things going on there which I enjoyed. So thanks Elaine.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for joining. I really appreciate it. We're back on Monday. Can you believe I'm still in Spain next week? So I'll be with you on Monday when we'll focus on the breath, and then Wednesday when we'll do a little bit more of the breath and the movement. If you've got any questions, please feel free just to pop them in the chat if you're on Facebook or Instagram or anything, or drop me a direct message. And if there's anything you want covering in these sessions, then let us know, and we will do that for you too. Thanks a lot. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, Elaine.
Bye.
Thanks,
Nice to see
Thanks,
you all.
Elaine.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Take care. We're going to the coast now, so don't be jealous.
Enjoy.
See you later. Bye. 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 I wondered why I couldn't see anything. I haven't got my glasses on to turn everything off. Yeah, there we go. That's better.
Let's try to call it.